Let's go! Playoff football, folks. Wild card weekend in the books. Well, you got your Minnesota and Rams game tonight, which we'll touch on that. But this is a primarily Bills Mafia podcast, as you know. If you're joining us for the first time and don't know, this is the DFL podcast, and I am Bill Mullane, and I will be joined here by Coach Tommy Snakes and typically Dr. Chucky Calzones, but as that's not a joke. He is a doctor. He's a psychologist, and he gets busy. He had a meeting this morning, so he was unable to attend to our little show here. So we had to nix it. No pun intended on Bo Nix, who got a welcome to playoff football yesterday by the Buffalo Bills defense, and who the media's not talking about enough, in my opinion. So let's dive into the game, break it down, and talk about some stats maybe you don't get anywhere else. And let's go Buffalo!
I remember Buffalo. Hey, listen, a great example, right? Of when your number's called, being ready.
DFL Football 25.
Honestly, man, if you think that you've done this at 10 a.m. every fucking Monday since July, and the only reason that we didn't do it at 10 a.m. was because of me and my schedule, then, dude, you're really a fucking asshole that has no accountability for his own time management skills. Honestly, dude, forget it, man. There's no point in trying to, explain this to you. There's no fucking point, because you're just, oblivious to, any type of, critical fucking feedback. Honestly, dude, I've had, I think, at least this month, there were 2 7 a.m. meetings, right? And the month before, they were at 8, and...
Well, 7 o'clock this time, not ours.
Never in my life, something that you and I planned, were you on time. Ever, dude. Ever. Just a couple weeks ago, you were like, hey, Chuck, I'm fucking in the Tim Hortons drive-thru, man. Said to get some food and shit, and did that fucking started at 10 a.m.? No fucking way, dude. It was, close to 40 minutes on whatever hour it was. But no, dude, it's my bad. It's my schedule. I need to let you know. Okay. All right, man. That makes a lot of sense.
All right, so that's Chucky Calzone not joining us today, apparently.
Well, that's because he's regimented. He has to live free. Don't let schedules run your life.
No, I'm not trying to. Chuck likes to do a lot of, it's your fault or my fault or someone's fault and different things like that, which
because he's regimented. He has to follow a schedule, a time break.
Right.
I'm sure he's given so many minutes in a day to get the action done, and then maybe not. He'll get his way.
Right. Well, Chuck's a psychologist, and I understand that he has a lot of, he has a busy schedule and a lot of meetings and stuff like that.
You're missing the point.
Although he doesn't believe me, I'm very respectful of his time and all of that, and I get that. But Chuck, when you listen to this, all I'm saying is, back when we first started the DFL podcast, I set a time for about 7:30, or it's about 7 o'clock his time, 10 our time here because he's in California.
Yeah.
And my mind, we go, okay, every Monday we should be good to go about 10 o'clock. And instead he, I'm not blaming because he doesn't reach out, but there were 5 times where I was like, hey, let's get started, at this time or whatever on Sunday, the day before. And he doesn't answer in the group text. He wouldn't answer me the whole night. And then the next day he would tell me he has a meeting or something. All right. And the only time it ever changes is because he has other obligations at certain times. So tell me that. But I don't know. I guess that's complicated. He has. I don't get it, man. But you know what's not complicated there, Tommy? The Bills' dominance over the Broncos yesterday, man. Let's not worry about Chucky's bullshit. We'll see him next week, I guess. And yeah, So here, man, some stats. Now that's Coach Tommy Snakes over there, and I am Bill Mullane, writer at PFN, Pro Football Network, and among many other hats I wear. And unlike the hat,
you don't
Tommy's
have
got
the
on
hat.
there.
I do.
Yeah, Tommy's got the hat though, man. That's pretty boss too. I like the Bills logo.
One of a kind, man.
Yeah, it is. I've never
you
seen
won't
one
find
like
another hat like this.
No. Maybe you should start making them in your spare time and sell them online, man. If anyone wants to buy them,
No. I want it to stay one of a kind.
Leave a comment in the comments here. Drop a note if you want Tommy to make you a hat like that. He can get his needle and thread out. He can do it. You can do it, Tommy.
No, this hat will never be duplicated. It's one of a kind.
Well, so is Josh Allen, man.
Archives.
And so is Josh Allen. He's one of a kind, I tell you that. And now has 2 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 70% completion percentage in 5 career playoff games. It's the same total as Tom Brady had his entire playoff career. Think about that for a second, man. That's pretty intense. And only Mahomes with 7 and Steve Young with 6 have more games of that kind in NFL playoff history. That's pretty wild, man. Now these are just, I figured we could look through and maybe talk about, well, first before we go through the stats there like this, because this gets into some weeds, man. Some of the really good stats that they put together at PFN, man, it's really wild. There's some unique ones here too that I want to kind of go through here. But if before that, man, what popped out to you? Because one of the things I want to say with the game yesterday, man, the defense, I felt they're not going to get enough credit. I mean, because they stopped Bo Nix and the Broncos, and they're going, well, it's a rookie quarterback and all that. And I get it. I understand that. But at the same time, I feel like they're going to be just overshadowed and not, because of your national media bullshit that you get like that. And because we've allowed a lot of runs this year, I can see it. But the main thing that stood out to me really was just the physicality on offense. Now, I know that pops to everybody when you saw that James Cook run where the whole line fucking dragged him, the entire way, or dragged him an extra 10 yards, But it was just the way that offense plays, man, is they are not to be denied. You know what I mean? And that just really stood out to me just watching the game yesterday. I guess it's not anything completely unique this year. It's been seen. They've been kind of playing that way the entire season for the most part. But let's get into other things. I want to hear some of your thoughts. Go ahead and take it away for a couple minutes, Tommy. What did you what really stood out, or anything else you want to talk about before we get into some deeper stats?
Well, first of all and foremost is, like it or not, I don't overlook the defense, and I understand why they get overlooked because of the accomplishments of the offense, from Allen and down, and especially as not having that A1 wide receiver, as they say, like so many teams have, there's certain receiver that gets most of the attention, and intentionally or not isn't the point. The thing is, most teams have one wide receiver that is a big standout, where Allen has a group of wide receivers that stand out. It just depends on which one's open or what number he calls and what play he has and he goes to. But Buffalo's offense is doing so well and carrying that 30 point something a game, average.
Generally, yeah.
This is what people look at, because let's face it, the NFL is an offensive game, man. Everybody wants, that scoring team, let's get it up there. People don't follow defenses like they used to,
No.
They really don't. And but Buffalo's defense yesterday showed me, and I know you're going to say about the rookie thing and everything else, but understand something. Denver's offense, they were one blocked field goal away from beating Kansas City. Okay? They would have beat them. That's how close they had that game. But everybody was raving about the Denver defense. Okay? The Buffalo's defense, that one trick play, or unexpected play at that time, and gave them a touchdown. was the only thing Denver pulled on Buffalo's defense. The rest of the day, that offense was under siege, and they knew it. You know, their quarterback, yeah, he's a scrambler, but I don't think that's his game plan. He's not a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. He didn't go into that game thinking, I'm going to get a bunch of yardage running.
Right.
You know, and that's, you know, I don't care. Maybe in the future he will be, but
Right.
I don't think that was his game plan or Sean Payton's.
Right.
You know? And so I think Buffalo's defense predicted the way they played, and they held it that way the entire game. And
Yeah,
they
they
only
had a
surrendered
definite-
7 points.
Right. They had a definite plan going in, and I think it was and that little punch in the mouth early, that little quick deep shot
Yeah.
From Knicks that immediately woke him up, because at first when that happened you go, oh, is the defense going to struggle? Because yesterday going into the game, the big concern really for me, and I think most of Bills Mafia or anyone else watching the game, would have been the Bills the defense, the Denver defense, because they were number one, right? I mean they were number
not number one. I think they're
number
yeah,
three
well,
in
anyway,
stopping
they
the
were
red
up
zone, number one in pass rush for sure, and sacks.
Yeah,
They're leading the league and all
they
that.
had
So
63 sacks.
right, so you go right. It's insane.
You
It's
know?
an incredible number. So you go, you know, that's like, okay, well, if their defense comes up, you know, Bills defense is already weak enough. Can this turn into just a shootout type of thing, or what's going to happen there? And then the defense, after allowed one shootout, one bullet, and then they capped it up there, man. Which says a lot. Which says a lot about Bobby Babich, I think, and Sean McDermott scheming them guys up right, man. I mean, they just played a lights out defense yesterday. They didn't allow shit.
And in yesterday's paper, just to hit on that note real quick, in yesterday morning's paper, I was reading about that, and Denver has, like, I'm going to say 4 defensemen going to the Pro Bowl. All right? Mm-hmm. The Bills have none.
I know.
Okay? The Bills, on an average, will give up around 24 points defensively, but their offense is getting 30 plus. Okay? So, I mean, and they're winning. But usually the Bills' defense gives up any place around 17 to 22 points. All right? And in yesterday's paper, Bobby Babich turned around and said, oh, we know how many they have going to the Pro Bowl. And we take offense to that because the Bills don't have any. They don't have anybody going.
Oh, yeah.
And when I read that, like, and we take offense to that. Mm-hmm. That defense was 100% ready. Like, yeah, you think you're bad. You haven't played bad yet.
Right. And to say, though, that's feeding into next week. I don't want to jump into it quite yet, but I mean, pretty much I figure we'll turn most of this episode into preparing for next week, because that's a hell of a matchup, man. And speaking on that, though, you know, moving it over to the offense, like, I mean, apparently the word is Lamar is going to snag that MVP away from Josh, right?
He's snagging it away. But
that's what the consensus is. Yeah, I know, because he put up such an amazing year. I know.
He had a good year, but without Henry, I don't think his year would have outdid
Josh
Allen.
Yeah,
I think it would have been a lot closer. You know.
No, yeah.
But
I said, man, I'm not gonna sit here and waste a bunch of time bitching and moaning about it, because really the MVP doesn't mean jack shit to me. Yeah, the MVP doesn't even mean anything to me, but it's just it is fucking annoying, man. And I'm not gonna say it's not.
It's a show of respect.
Yeah, but dude, that team. I understand that the Ravens are a different team without Lamar, so that stands for the valuable, but not that much. Without Lamar, he's throwing up the numbers like he did last season, which were not as good as Allen's. Yet he still fucking won. Whatever. Yeah. That was because of seeding, and they had, they were one seed, more wins. I get it, but this year the Bills with more wins, and not only that, Derrick Henry is clearly the most valuable player on that team. Without him opening up, it's terrifying defenses. They're not opening up all those passes, and Lamar's not getting all those yards. He's throwing up numbers like he did last year, and so to me, it's just another year where it shows, what the fuck does valuable mean in the context of the national media and the people who vote on that shit? Because I understand how he is valuable, but when you talk about most valuable to that team, the only thing you should be looking at is the roster and what the player accomplished with that roster. And I don't even think the Bills roster is nearly as, decrepit as media makes them sound. They make it sound like we got nobody on offense. But, we got a talented squad, man. But still, they aren't big name players other than really Amari Cooper, who hasn't, been the X factor or anything. So, so I think Josh deserves it. But anyway, moving off of that, I don't want to sit here and whine about MVP. Whatever, man. Right. It's just going to sound like a homer take coming from a guy in a Buffalo Bills sweater and a clock behind him going, Josh Allen should have. Obviously, fucking guy. Thanks for your, unbiased opinion.
Yeah, right.
It's just going to come off as Chuck, you would say, our bullshit homer.
Very homey.
Yeah.
But in reality of that, though, is that not even Allen is that concerned with the MVP. He's not. He's
concerned with one trophy, man.
You don't hear him out there saying, well, being shunned is being shunned or anything. He doesn't even hint at it. He's just basically like, nah, I want the Lombardi.
Right.
That's the trophy he wants. And he goes, I want it for the team. I want it for the city. I want the Lombardi.
Right.
And he has that team playing in that way. And as far as he says, yesterday, after that 41-yard touchdown to Trey in the back, and he turned around and said, "I've been saying it all year. He's the best third down running back in the league."
Oh, the one to Ty Johnson you're talking about?
Yeah. And he's gone to him many times on third down and ended up with scores.
Yeah, that was fourth. That was a 4th and 1.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
but I hear it, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
but
Alan points out, like, yeah, I have the players. You don't want to recognize them. He doesn't say it like that, but that's exactly what he means. Yeah. Look what Curtis Samuel did.
Yeah.
That's 2 times he's hit Curtis Samuel, and Samuel has outmaneuvered the defenders and made it to the end zone.
Yeah.
By himself. No.
Samuel's fantastic, man. I know, and but he was struggling all year, getting back healthy and everything else. So
exactly,
he hasn't done anything eye popping. So you understand it, but
right.
To not go too far off. What I was trying to get to was that moving over to the offense was just mentioning that because that's that fuel, like you said, about the defense hearing bullshit and then having to, against Denver showing up. So, like, the offense is now, I just think Allen is going to be fired up, even though he doesn't probably care about the MVP, or at least is never going to say he does. Still,
he probably cares a little, but
having it taken away, having it like that, where he damn well knows he's the most valuable player in the league, and it going to Lamar for a third time, too. Even just voter fatigue should have given it to Allen. But anyway, if he's I think the offense, I think that's going to have him fired up. And they spoke a lot about in the conference yesterday after the game about it being about how Baltimore laid a thumping on Buffalo on week 4. And,
he even said it.
I know. So I'm saying I think they're fired up. And speaking of over to the offense, before we jump completely on next week, just yesterday's game, man, they scored 31 straight, which is the 3rd longest scoring run in playoff history. 31 straight, man. 44 in team playoff history. I'm sorry, just so you know, in the Bills' history. They scored 44 against the Raiders. See, these are the stats pulled up by PFN, which is wild, man, just to find it. They scored 44 straight against the Raiders in 1990 in the AFC Championship, won 51-3. 30, and of course, remember this, the comeback game, man. 35 straight versus the Oilers in 92 in the wild card, won 41-38, and then this one, 31 straight versus the Broncos. So
right,
that's pretty. That says a lot about your offense. Even though, and that's what I mean. It says a lot about your offense because yesterday was not a game where we were concerned about so much about stopping the Broncos offense. It was more about getting past their defense. This fantastic defense and their pass rush, and to stack up 31 straight on them, man. So I don't know if you want to say anything else about the offense from yesterday, or just move it into next week. Or what? Or if you want to go through any more of these stats, there's some more pretty wild stuff here. The Bills called a run 63% of the time in the first half, which is their 3rd highest first half run rate in the last 5 seasons.
I think that's
Which
all
Cook,
part
man,
of.
was. And that's one thing that drives me nuts, too, man. They said on, like, national media yesterday after the game, they're talking and they call next week's matchup 2-on-1 because really it's Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry versus Allen. And I mean, just how do you just spit on James Cook after the performance he put up yesterday? Not even fucking mention
That
what?
my thought exactly when I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that. I said, "What? You mean Cook isn't doing anything back there?
Yeah.
190 yards yesterday.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And
I understand he's not Derrick Henry, but
they're not in size. But
just-
when it comes
right.
to speed, when he gets around that corner, they're not catching him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy has runs, man.
he's looking like his brother, man, like his brother in his prime.
yeah, you know.
You know, so, I mean,
he's
you're telling me if
better
we
than
had
his
Dalvin
brother
Cook,
in his prime.
if we had Dalvin Cook sitting back there in our prime, would you still call this a 2-on-1?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, he's earning his stripes, but you know, nobody's complaining about it. You know,
No. Yeah, keep
no one's
overlooking it.
complaining about it. You know, not on the team. I mean, you know, as Amari says, this is the best team he's ever been on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he knows. Yeah, when you call my number, I'll make the catch, and he's made all but I think but 2. He had a couple dropped, but. You know, he doesn't get the breakaways because he's so covered. You know, I mean, they cover him. Yesterday, the Broncos made a mistake when they were covering everybody else and they put one guy on Samuel. You know, and that's just the point about Buffalo's offense. They can't afford to put one defender on one receiver. You can't go man to man because no matter which receiver it is, if you only put one person on them, they're getting away. And Allen knows it.
Yeah.
And he has a front line that gives him the time to do it.
Hey, make sure you
And-
stay on screen there, Coach.
Yeah, and the other plus to that is Allen's ability to run
Yeah.
because defenses are like, well, he really can't run into this guy because that's going to leave somebody open, and we know he'll throw it. But if we keep staying back here, he's going to take off, and then we're going to be chasing him down.
Yeah. Well, that's
You know,
the
so-
trick of playing Allen, man.
Yeah, you know, and so you know it makes it rough on any team.
Of course.
And anyway, yeah, I think they're getting back to one point when you're saying the time of possession.
Oh my God.
I think
41
that
minutes
was-
to 18 yesterday, man.
And now
That's something I wanted to mention. That is substantial.
that's
man.
credit to your offensive line,
Oh God, yeah.
your running
Your
game,
one game.
you know, and you don't mention the running game.
And your defense. I mean, in the second half, we had how many consecutive, like 2 or 3 3-and-outs, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
we forced several punts in the second half. I mean,
Right.
that's a
And-
credit
and-
to controlling the game. It's a credit to
Right.
your line on both sides, your offensive
Right,
and
so-
defensive line. I even
so
heard
I
a
do
Bills.
so.
I even heard a Bills homer though talking about how they were actually disappointed in like the defensive line play yesterday, that we weren't getting enough pass rushing and all. I don't know what the fuck he was talking
I
about.
don't know what he was talking about. That guy was under siege all day.
That's just when I hear shit like that, I go, this is why the Bills don't have a trophy, because we're just not grateful enough. When you put on a performance like that and you hold a team to 7 points in the playoffs. I know this is a team that maybe it's too much of a finesse team. The Broncos, they didn't have the pounded out grit kind of required for playoff football, but still, you're holding a team to 7 points in the playoffs, and we're gonna find shit to complain about on the defense. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. I mean, yeah, you know, and but the only negative I can say about on the defense yesterday, and it's not really
Sure,
a
it's good to be
negative,
critical.
just-
Go ahead.
Well, it's not really a negative. It's a reality, and Bond played a heck of a game. I don't care what anybody tells me, man. Von Miller had pass rushing pressure on that guy. More, I know for a fact there was at least 4 of them, but he probably had more. Okay, but his agent that injury, I think, are kind of holding him back a little bit because if it was before the injury, okay, pre-injury, like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
those would have been sacks.
Oh,
They wouldn't have been just pressures. They would have been sacks, you know. But I think he's slowed down a little
Well,
bit.
yeah,
in
man,
his
he's
step.
getting up there. It's okay, but we got Groot on the other side too, man, and
Yeah, but that's
he
what
got
I'm
two
saying.
sacks.
That's the only negative was on Von's part. But like I say, it's not really a negative because he put pressure on that guy, and he was accountable for two of the offensive, either a running back, an alignment, or a couple of line. They have to double team him, even though he is slowing down.
Right.
You know
Now,
what I
one
mean?
thing that's going to be really, I think, crucial, one player that's going to be vital and who also coming back from injury, speaking of, for next week, man, and I was impressed by Milano's speed yesterday going across the field and how
Correct.
chasing, when he caught Bo Nix, chasing him out of bounds. Bo Nix has speed, man. And
yeah.
Milano was able to catch up to him and get him out of bounds short of the first down on that. I think
Right.
that was a third down or fourth. I think it was third, and they had a punt.
It was third.
Or that might have been later in the game in a fourth down when they had to go for it. They had no choice at that point. It might have been, I don't know, but either way, whatever. You know what play I'm talking about, and the speed Milano
I do,
has.
because I
He's going to be
remember-
vital in catching up to watching. Because I mean, you're going to have to. I don't know if you spy Lamar, but you at least you got to be constantly aware of him and of his legs. I mean, and then you got Henry to watch. So I mean, speed on the second level there is going to be absolutely vital next week. So you
Right.
think that Milano can do it? How do you think he's looking coming back from injury? I mean, his legs look good, man. I mean, he's come back from that broken leg, and I think sometimes that torn bicep in training camp might have helped out to get extra rest on that leg, that broken bone that had to still could probably finish.
Yeah.
Him. So, you think he's looking
But-
good? You think he's going to get after Lamar? Let's move to next week.
Well, I think he's going to do his best coming back, you know, healing and so forth. He's going to do the best he can. But it's hard to compare Nix with Lamar. Lamar is, first of all, a little more seasoned. You know, he's been around a little bit longer. He knows how the
He's not Bo
NFL
Nix.
players are. Right. You know, Bo Nix is just finding out, like, man, these guys are
I
like
know.
4 steps quicker than they were in college, you know? Lamar already knows this. He has everything that Josh and Mahomes had.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know?
He's going to be the MVP again. So, but do you think that Milano and other linebackers we have, or anyone that we have the speed and tackling ability to make sure we are able to at least somewhat contain Lamar and
Yes,
and Derrick Henry?
we do, but again, it's gonna be because of the experience. See, like Milano and others that have the speed, all right, on the Bills defense.
Milano's got some
All right.
experience, though. It's not his first rodeo.
I know, that's what I just said. Because of their experience and stuff, they're gonna know. They already know. You don't just go straight at this guy because he's gonna outmaneuver you. Okay, so they know.
He is shifty.
We have to put on angles. We have to come from a certain a certain way and stuff, and because they know. You're just not going to bring him down coming straight at him. He's going to spin around you or something, So you got to catch him on that angle. Sure, it may look like he's getting away from you, but catch him on that angle. And there was, I forget his name, but it was a defenseman for whoever Baltimore just beat. Who did they beat? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
They beat Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah. It was I want to say Haywood, but it could have been
Cam Hayward,
but,
yeah.
But he turned around and said, not the trick. He goes, the way to bring down
Lamar.
Henry. The way to bring down Henry is you have to get him at his legs, around his ankles, because he doesn't
too top-heavy.
he doesn't step out of tackles.
Right.
And this is what he was saying. He goes, he can plow you over, He can knock
Clearly.
you off with that arm. You know, he can do a lot of stuff. You know, but if you get his ankle, he's not the guy that's going to step out of the tackle. You know, for some reason, that's like his Achilles heel.
Achilles heel is Achilles heel, huh?
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
And
Let's hope
and
that
when
works.
I was watching the game, I realized that's what Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh kept hitting him low, going low on him.
Yeah.
And that there's a key to
Well, they didn't
holding
exactly
down.
shut him down,
But
though.
the thing, oh no, they didn't shut him down.
No, he ran
because,
like 200 and some yards.
The guy's like almost, you know, she's like, what, 280 pounds of fucking muscle.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to take Cam Hayward's. I don't know if you want
It's
to take
not-
Cam Hayward's advice on. He's telling you how to stop the guy. He fucking plowed.
Yeah,
plowed
well,
him over.
he stopped them. You know, they stopped them the best they could.
No, it's absolutely right, and you
But-
can see it in Henry's frame, and you can see it as he runs. He's built like just like top, just, you know, it's very
You know?
top heavy and kind of
Yeah.
narrow. And you can see, man, if you can wrap up his legs, you probably got a much better chance of stopping him. Of course,
Right.
Yeah, you don't
But
try and
it's,
tackle Henry by the shoulders.
Right. No, you're not going high on him. But it's also the point that Pittsburgh offense didn't stay on the field long enough to make a game out of that.
No,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
right? Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know
Pittsburgh's
what I
got
mean?
their own
You-
problems like
You
that. Yeah,
can't,
right.
yeah. And,
I was
mean,
hoping they
and
could
that's
do it,
just
but
the
their
thing.
offense just doesn't have the power yet, man. Pickens
Right.
made a couple plays yesterday, but I mean Russell Wilson's getting up there. His decision making's not the best. You know, yeah, they got their issues, man. I don't want to talk too much
Right.
about not going to talk too much about eliminated teams, but I hear what you're saying, man, and hopefully the Bills heard
Hopefully
Hayward or they
you
know that
we'll be
too,
able
and
to get in there and do
they can
something. I
actually
mean,
wrap his legs up, you know.
I mean, it's not that Henry can't be stopped. I mean, look at all the years that he's been with the Titans. They
Right,
won
right,
their
yeah.
share of games,
Of course,
no
yeah.
doubt about it.
They were
But
the only
didn't
reason they
win
ever
the
contended
Super Bowl
was because
every
of
year
Henry.
because of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he can be stopped. It's just getting it done.
Of course.
And I think Buffalo has enough offensive talent to help keep him on the bench. And the longer he's on the bench, the better off your team is going to be.
Well, I'm sure you're predicting a Bills win, man, and that's what I
Well,
I would be too. But we
That's
wouldn't be
just like
alone.
diehard Bills coming
Yeah.
out.
Well, that doesn't even matter. We wouldn't even be alone. I mean, like according to PFN, which is unbiased stats, you know, the Bills' updated odds for advancing to the conference championship are 50.7%. The Ravens are at 49.3%. That's how close, you know, the game is predicted to be, man.
Yeah.
Where we are favored by 0.7%. You know,
Right.
Which is. Yeah, I mean that makes you that feels good, and then it also makes you like, this is a nerve-wracking week. Well, let's try and enjoy most of the week because it's going to be a nervous Sunday night, man. As confident as I am in the Bills, those are some tight odds, man.
Yeah. It's
Do you think they're accurate? Those odds, man.
I
You think
do,
it's all
but I think,
basically a 50-50 game? I'm thinking the slight edge goes to Buffalo only because they're at home.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I would say 51-49.
Bills
Because
Mafia,
Buffalo-
we
yeah.
need you to stand up and get this win for us. You're the difference maker, man.
Who's
The
that?
crowd is the difference in this one, man.
Oh yeah, no.
We need the Mafia making some fucking noise Sunday night.
Well, not just that, but that's what I was telling Sharon, that my wife yesterday. I said the biggest difference is going to be Baltimore's going to be in Buffalo for this.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the biggest difference.
I'm sure your wife was just thrilled listening to you yap at her about it, too.
Oh, yes, she was.
Thanks, Tom.
She was. Because,
Thanks, Coach.
she watched the Baltimore game and she said, oh, this team is going to be, brutal. And I said, yeah. I said, they already proved it. And it was the first thing out of Allen's mouth when they asked him about the upcoming game. He says, well, we know they put a thumping on us last time, but they got the jump on us.
Yeah.
And once they had the jump on them and they're at home and they had that momentum, that's a hard team to stop.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
I feel
But
like
it's
that game
just
was...
it's just the same thing in Buffalo. Buffalo comes out, they want to score first, make you come from behind. make you have to chase them.
Right.
You know, because now, as little as it seems in the first half that you can still try to keep your game plan going, right? The longer you're chasing them, the better it is for them. You know what I mean? Because and then they get that ball again, and they go and score, and they eat up a lot of clock. Now you're really getting under pressure. Mm-hmm. And this is what Buffalo has to do, and they know it. You know, basically,
it's going to be a tough matchup, man. It's going to be one in the trenches, Tommy.
Now, and that's what I was trying to say. As much as the media and everything is focused on
Lamar and Allen.
And Allen, okay, which rightfully so. I don't think Lamar and Allen are as focused on that as much as the media. They're more focused on wanting to win that game, and they're going to use their weapons. So you're going to see more of Henry running. The Bills defense has to be up for it, and you're going to see more of Buffalo hook on the run because they're going to want to keep that ball moving and keep those guys. The Bills have a phenomenal offensive line. Mm. You know, they can move the ball on, I believe, anybody.
Best in the league, in my opinion, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, and I think this is where it's going to center more, you know? And then the fact that if Baltimore gets a little too antsy and comes up a little too tight, now you're going to open up that back end of their passing game. And I know they've been doing better than they have been in the past, but there's always a weak link.
Yep.
And their weak link is their back end defense, pass and defense. And that is Buffalo's strong point, believe it or not. That's Buffalo's strong point. That's why they lead the league in turnovers and turnover points.
No turnovers yesterday, though, man. No takeaways on either side.
Yeah, Mark Hamlin thought that he had it, you know?
Yeah, well, I think he knew he didn't.
He knew he didn't, but he was trying to make it look like, come on, I got it. You know? But, yeah.
We had basically,
I
think we had about three or four picks that were pretty much almost handed to us that we kind of dropped.
Yes,
you know? But
I mean,
defense played fantastic, man. The offense played fantastic, and I just hope we carry that over into next week. Is there anything else you want to say about next week? We're already at 39 minutes here, man, so I'm going to be trimming this thing up.
No, it's all right. No, all I can say is, you know, to sound like a child according to the Fairweather fan.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, you know, the Bills win, the defense stands up and proves themselves again because I think they were embarrassed the last time, more so than the offense.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know, and
although the offense only put up 10 points last time, too, so I think they're a little fiery about that.
Yeah, but, you know, it was because the defense wasn't getting the other guy off the field.
That's true. That didn't help. Then, and we didn't have Amari Cooper yet. There was, you know. Yeah, there was some definite. There was some
right. Not everybody was healthy.
No, yeah.
But everybody is this time around.
That's for sure.
You know.
Yeah, no nothing, man. Anything you want to say about the NFC before we throw this one out?
Well, I was surprised. I was surprised to see the Commanders beat Tampa. Yeah. I was surprised on that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see the Commanders get past Detroit.
Yeah, they're playing Detroit, right? And then it's the winner tonight goes on to play the Eagles, right? So who do you think is going to win tonight, L.A. or Minnesota? You were choosing Minnesota. You're just Super Bowl pick, weren't they?
Yeah. And I tell you the truth, I think you're going to see Minnesota step up because, I mean, if you remember last week's game, Minnesota, they had what do you call it? Detroit beat in the first quarter. They were in the red zone 4 times, and they came away with 3 field goals.
Yeah, something like that, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were all shit reasons. I mean, the overthrow here, a drop pass off of
Well, if you're going to put any blame on it, man, it would be it.
Jefferson drop a pass.
Yeah, but
You know
it's
what I
hard
mean?
to.
And to drop 3 of them in the end zone?
Right, it's hard to
Uncalled
put.
for.
Yeah, it's hard to put a lot on Justin Jefferson, probably the best receiver in the league.
Right.
If you pointed at anybody with that game, it's Sam Darnold didn't play very well, man, and that's kind of what was was expected.
That's what I mean. He was overthrowing. He was throwing a little wide and this and that. And I don't believe that Sam Darnold is so bad that he's not going to make up for that.
Right.
You know, I mean, he knows why.
But what it might
have completions, especially when the guys were open.
What it might come down to tonight is who's going to make more or less mistakes, and I have more faith in Matt Stafford making less. You know,
I would too.
If the Rams play like they played Buffalo a month ago, that they could win that game tonight pretty easily. But you're picking the Vikings win. I tell you the truth, I would root for the Vikings. I would rather see the purple people eaters get it done. I have a soft spot for the Vikings. They got 4 Super Bowl appearances and 4 losses. I feel for them.
Hell yeah.
I know. So the Rams were just there. Get the fuck out of here. You're done. We don't need you around anymore. But that's but that doesn't mean I necessarily have the faith that they're going to do it. The Rams have been. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to lie and say I've been following their season and how they were the last couple games. I'm not really okay, but they can do it, and I'll go with you, man. I'll say the Vikings take the win in a narrow victory, man.
Yeah, I say the Vikings pull it off, and I think they pull it off, and I think it's going to be like 27-24, 27-21, yeah, something like that.
All right.
A field goal could possibly, is going to. I don't think much more than 4 points, between whoever wins.
All right, so then Minnesota advances. They go and take on the Eagles next week in the divisional round. That would be right. So it'd be Minnesota and Philly and Detroit and Washington, and then you got Buffalo and Baltimore and Houston and the Chiefs. Real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give us all your winners, man.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to get you. This is going to shock you. Who do you think I'm picking between Kansas and Houston?
I'm going to be shocked. It's got to be Houston.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's going to surprise them.
All right.
Because nobody is going to be giving Houston any amount of a chance. It's going to be worse than the odds against Denver and Buffalo. I mean, they don't even speak of Houston going into the final. They're saying the only blessing out of the playoffs or the wild card games is Kansas City doesn't have to play both Buffalo and Baltimore.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Media's got it sealed up. I know that would be a shocker, man, and I'd be of course thrilled with it.
Yeah,
But hey, okay, so like I said, real quick. So Houston, Buffalo, NFC. Who wins those two, man?
Okay, Houston and Buffalo. If that ends up, my hope goes through.
Okay.
It's going to be Buffalo. But
no.
again,
I'm not asking you to predict the rest of the playoffs. We'll go 1 week at a time here, man. But
okay.
we're setting up the conference finals.
All right.
We're setting up the conference game. So Buffalo and Houston playing, and who's winning the NFC this weekend?
Okay,
whatever.
I say Buffalo wins. All right, because of my heart. And I'm a Buffalo diehard fan.
1,
Sorry,
2,
fair
3,
weather
4.
guy.
We don't need the reasons. Everybody,
Yeah,
anyone watching knows this by now. With your fucking Mafia sweater on, dude. Come
I
on.
had to say that for the fair weather fella.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
You can't tell.
I had to say that for the fair
Who's this
weather
guy with the fucking Bills fedora and the Mafia hoodie? Does this guy happen to be a Bills fan? I don't know. I can't tell.
Hey,
Bill.
and I'm going with the shocker. I'm going to say that Houston pulls it off. They make the field goal.
Okay.
They win the game.
All right.
It's like one
NFC.
in the kingdom.
All right.
And
NFC.
then I'm taking and then I'm going to take,
Eagles or Commanders?
I'm going to take
Lions or Commanders.
Yeah,
And
I'm taking the Lions over the Commanders. I don't
Okay,
think
and then you're saying the Vikings win tonight, so it's Vikings Eagles next week. Who you got?
That there kind of rough, but I'm hoping that the Vikings pull it out. It'd be tight, but I'm hoping they pull it out. Yeah.
All right. No.
I mean, I'm kind of sick of the Eagles, but you can't let the Eagles hang around, man. They'll just wear you down.
I don't give a shit about being unbiased or showing any bias or anything like that, or just being honest. And I don't care if he's from Western New York or not. I can't fucking stand Nick Sirianni, to tell you the truth. I just know if I met him in person, I'd be respectful, and of course, he'd probably beat the shit out of me, so I probably wouldn't say anything too shitty. But just personality-wise, and the way he just kind of talks, and I don't know. He's the type of guy I don't want to sit down and have a beer with. I'd be like, get this fucking guy away from me, man. I just don't really like him. And plus, in his coaching decisions, I don't necessarily think he's always the greatest, man. So, whatever. I'm not crazy about Sirianni. And yeah, right. The Eagles had just been there. I'd like to see. So that's the hope list that you got there, man. And I like it. All right, Tommy, we're way over time here, man. I got to cut some of this down and shit. So we'll see how this episode turns out. But say your goodbyes, man. Say see you later, whatever else you want to add real quick.
Well, I'll tell you the way it is, man. All right. And for the fair weather fans, go Bills.
Right on, man.
See you later, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
See you later, Tommy. Thank you, Coach Snakes, for joining. Chucky, we hope to see you next week, buddy. We love you. We miss you here on the DFL podcast. Hey, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that episode. This has been fun, man. And we are excited and a little scared about next week, to tell you the truth. At least I know I am. I'm already feeling the jitters, man. I might have to start drinking again. And please, Buffalo, save me. Anything else I want to add here real quick? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else I want to add in here. That was a fun talk. And this is the DFL podcast, folks. It's ramping up a bit now. Things are going to be changing a little bit, especially as we move into the off season when that time comes. But we'll tackle that horse when we get there, I guess. I don't know, is that an expression? Tackle that horse? What the fuck did I just say? I don't know, folks. Listen, like, comment, subscribe to the podcast, man. Subscribe. Hit that button below. Let's go. And until next week, let's go, Buffalo!